other issue. We've grappled with these headlines for the last few years now, Mr. Sibal, about the way government agencies are being used, particularly against opposition leaders, the Enforcement Directorate in particular. The government's own data shows that about 95% of the cases that the ED has sort of had in the last 10 years have been against opposition leaders. That's quite a large number. The conviction rate is very low, but they go after the opposition. Similarly, there is another law, the UAPA, the anti-terror law, which has now for the very first time been slapped against a media organization in this country. You've represented NewsClick in court in that. In both these laws, whether it's the Prevention of Money Laundering Act or the UAPA, it seems that jurisprudence has been turned on its head because you're basically guilty until proven innocent.
Absolutely.
But these laws came in during the Congress's time. What happened?
See, now again, we asked the wrong question. I think you've asked the wrong question. You take any law in the world. You take the Code of Criminal Procedure. It was brought in by the British, right? It's been used fairly or unfairly.
It's how you use the law.
Exactly. The issue is not you brought in PMLA. We may have brought in PMLA, but we never knew that the PMLA could be used in this fashion. And we never used it in that fashion, right? The Code of Criminal Procedure, under the Code of Criminal Procedure today, you can arrest a man on suspicion. You may have no evidence against him at all, and you can do it indiscriminately. But if you are an officer of a police station, in charge of a police station, and you have some evidence, you will not arrest somebody merely on the suspicion that he has committed an offense.
Can you clarify?
Every law can be misused. It's asking the wrong question.
But
all laws are fine. It's only the misuse of the laws that leads to this.
But when the PMLA was brought in by the Congress, if you could clarify this, the twin conditions for getting bail, which are very stringent right now, under which people can get or not get bail under PMLA, did those exist right from the beginning, or was this amended or tweaked later on?
In fact, it was struck down. They were there.
Yeah.
It was struck down by the Supreme Court, by judgment of the Supreme Court. They were brought back then. And then
upheld then by the Supreme Court recently.
But in the context of bail, the Supreme Court also said in the recent judgment that you really don't have to go into the twin conditions, because if somebody has been in for 3 years and the trial is not going to
then they've already served half the sentence.
Served the sentence, so you can grant bail. So really, the twin conditions sometimes don't work. But of course, you won't get bail at the initial stage, and none of these people, whether it's the political stalwarts of the AAP party who are already incarcerated, or it's NewsClick and media organizations, or journalists, they will never get bail for a period of time.
I want to ask you a little bit about the fact that a media organization, NewsClick in this case, being slapped with an anti-terror charge. This is particularly worrying, for journalists, because
what's the terror? I mean,
exactly. So isn't it quite draconian? To slap a terror charge.
The argument is that you sold your shares at a premium, right? And you shouldn't have sold them at a premium. And the money has come from China. The investment has come from China. And the person who gave you the money is actually now living in China. At the time, of course, when he gave the money, in fact, he didn't give the money. There was a company which sold some shares on the basis of which an investment took place. And there were chartered accountants here who cleared the deal. What's the act of terror in all this? I don't understand. But then, of course, courts still don't give him bail. See, the problem is, the great learned hand, a great John of the United States said, he says, liberty lives in the hearts of men and women. When it dies there, no constitution, no law, no court can save it. And if it lives on, you don't need a constitution, you don't need a law, and you don't need a court. Liberty is dead in India. No constitution, no law, no court can save it.
Is that what you're saying?
Because it is dead in the hearts of men and women in India.
Including the courts?
Including the courts.
That's quite a statement to make.
It's a fact.
So the courts have failed us?
We keep on grappling with issues. We keep on grappling with issues. Bail matters, where there's somebody, has been in for 3 years. He doesn't get bail because the trial is yet to take place. There are charges against the man. They may have no basis for that. But unfortunately, see, unless the people of this country are alive to it, unless we as citizens of this country are allowed to what liberty means to us. This Constitution gave us that gift. Who bothers about the Constitution today?
But shouldn't the courts be bothered about it first?
The courts are bothered, but the problem is that in an environment of this nature, court also go along with the tide. Court, some judges are extraordinary, they do whatever they can, but by and large...
But it's remarkable that you say that they are extraordinary when actually they're doing their duty, they're doing their job by following the Constitution.
No, it's not that they don't follow.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't follow the... See,
the
for
laws
them,
are such.
for them, liberty is not central to life. If it were, we wouldn't be having judgments of like the
But
ones
the Chief
that we got
Justice of
from
India keeps giving speeches, with all respect to him and to the Supreme Court, where he says that, upholding liberty and civil liberties is our...
No, I have to say that the Chief
duty.
Justice of India has given some very good judgments on this subject. So
but it's not being followed by the rest of the judiciary in the spirit that he speaks.
There are great bright sparks in the judiciary also, but by and large, you see in the trial court, you will never get bail because the judge is, basically, and the Chief Justice of India himself said so. So why does the trial court, why do we have to give bail? Why doesn't the trial court?
But why look at the trial courts? The Supreme Court has been hearing, for example, Omar Khalid's bail plea. He's been in jail under UAPA for more than 3 years now, no trial in sight.
The other problem with
But they're not doing anything.
Well, no, the matter is in fact coming up on Tuesday or Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, but 3+ years.
That's all right. I mean, the court will decide. I don't want to comment on it. The other problem is that, you see, laws do not represent what we call justice. Justice comes through the court system. And laws are misused to destroy or,
to settle scores.
To settle scores.
Send a message.
Using PMLA against opposition leaders. Now, justice only comes when the court sort of stands up and says, you can't just do this. You can't just go along. At the time of election, all this is now happening at the time of election now. Chhattisgarh, in Jharkhand, now in Rajasthan,
Telangana,
in Bengal,
everywhere.
in West Bengal, Telangana, you name it, Odisha, you name it. Every state where there's the opposition, you're having the same kind of problems. And there's nobody listens to us because, and the other thing
but what you said is important, that both the courts and citizens have sort of failed on the issue of liberty, which is at the heart of democracy.
Exactly. No, I think they don't realize how important liberty is to us and to 1.4 billion people of this country. I mean, as it is, the poor have no liberty, right? And if you are going to destroy whatever opposition there is, political opposition there is in the country, you won't have a state worth living in.
Or any dissent, for that matter. If you slap terror charges against media organizations, you have journalists in Kashmir who've been arrested under UAPA for the last 2-3 years. Exactly. No, so the message then to the media is that toe the line or else.
You see what happened. I can't think of another democratic country where this happens. A boy in a class is asked, boys in the class and girls in the class are asked to slap a young boy.
Because of his religion.
Because of his religion. Can you ever imagine? And what has happened to that?
Nothing
has happened.
Nothing.
Somebody runs over, he's driving a car and runs over people. He's on bail, right? People are asked on the street to say Jai Shri Ram. Otherwise, we'll beat you up. Now, which court has taken cognizance of it? I dare say if Justice Bhagwati were here, and I can say that with some sense of honesty, that if he were here, he would have taken suo motu action. But what are we doing to our country? And for what?
That's true. I mean, the Supreme Court has said a lot on, for example, cracking down on hate speech, but it still happens.
It's
rampant.
Happens, and no, people defy the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
They say, we don't care.
So what does that say about the institution of the judiciary?
Why do I think I said that? I said, if liberty dies in the hearts of men and women, no constitution, no court, no law can save it. That's what's happening.
It's actually, I would say quite courageous of you to say that. You practice in the courts and very few people speak their mind.
I don't want to take anything from the system. I don't need anything. I don't want accolades from anybody. But the fact is, I'm living in my country and I feel for it.
Can I ask you another question? And this is something
And I am part of the judiciary in the sense that
Of
I've been
course, you're part
a
of that
lawyer
system.
practicing for 50
Yeah.
years. I don't think I love any other institution more than I love the judiciary. But what can one say?
I want to come back to this NewsClick case for a minute, because another thing that happened when these arrests happened a few weeks ago was that there were a number of journalists associated with NewsClick who may have written articles for them, or even office staff who had worked for them at some point, or contributors. You know, police actually came to their homes without warrants, picked them up and took them in for questioning at the police station. Just from a legal point of view, what happened to due process here?
This happens all the time.
But it's just
you're
very
talking
simply,
about NewsClick because he's a media person.
No,
It's
sure.
a high-profile case.
So
It
should
happens.
you not have a warrant technically under the law before you take somebody into the police
you
station?
forget about a warrant. What happens is
Or
people
seizing
just
of
pick
devices?
People just pick people up. Don't even write down the time of arrest. They keep them for 2 days and show some time of arrest anytime they want. I mean, this happens every day. NewsClick is because you are a journalist, and NewsClick is an institution in itself, and you're very concerned about it. Every citizen in this country dealing with the police suffers from this, and nobody says a thing.
So
Nobody
due
says
process just
That's what I
goes,
said.
goes
Law
to hell.
and justice are two different things.
Yeah.
Right? You misuse the law, right? And that's injustice. But law by itself doesn't represent justice.
But legally, are the police allowed to just come and seize our devices? Like if they just come in?
Cannot.
Legally
What's the point of the privacy judgment? What's the point
But
of the
they do it
privacy
anyway.
judgment that you can just see somebody's mobile phone and just go through? Actually, some of these people don't have any evidence. So they come and seize your phone, then they go through your phone, then they find out something, then they start questioning you about that.
But that seizure without any paperwork is illegal, right?
Even if there was paperwork, what business do they have to take my phone and look at all the intimate conversations that a person has, or he may have business dealings, there may be competitors involved, he may not want to reveal it, he may have WhatsApp chats. What business does somebody have to just look at through my phone and see it, and just, in a sense, my phone represents my personality. You're destroying it by just seizing it and going through it and then questioning me. And then if you tell a lie under the new law now, it's even worse. Under the new law now,
The one
if
that's
I tell a
before
lie,
the parliament committee.
if I tell a lie, I can be imprisoned. So under PMLA, if you're called under PMLA under Section 50, you have to tell the truth. If you don't tell the truth, you'll be prosecuted under this new law if it is passed. Which world are we living in? And we call ourselves the mother of democracy.